For nearly 80 years, one currency has ruled the global economy. The US dollar, from oil to trade deals, from central bank reserves to international finance, the dollar has been the backbone of the world system. But today, a new alliance of nations, BRICS, is openly challenging that dominance. And if they succeed, it could trigger one of the biggest financial shifts in modern history. So, what exactly is happening? BRICS began as an informal grouping of Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. 5 large emerging economies that, together, count for over 40% of the world's population and more than 30% of global GDP. For years, BRICS was seen as a talking shop with little real impact. But recently, everything has changed. The reason? Dollarization. These countries are tired of a global financial system where the United States holds most of the power. They don't want to depend on a currency controlled by Washington. And they don't want to be vulnerable to sanctions, interest rate hikes, or the Federal Reserve's decisions. And so BRICS is trying to build something new, an alternative. The most ambitious idea is a new BRICS currency. Some leaders have spoken of a gold-backed unit designed to rival the dollar directly. Others envision expanding the use of local currencies in trade deals, bypassing the dollar entirely. Already, China and Russia are trading more in yuan and rubles. India is paying for oil in rupees. Saudi Arabia, a country that built its wealth on the petrodollar, is now talking about joining BRICS and selling oil outside of the dollar system. That happens, the consequences are enormous. The US dollar is powerful because it is the world's reserve currency. Central banks hold trillions in US debt. Global commodities, especially oil, are priced in dollars. This creates constant demand, which allows the US to run massive deficits without collapsing its currency. If BRICS undermines this system, demand for dollars could fall, and with it, America's ability to finance its dominance. But here's the catch. Building an alternative is not easy. The dollar is trusted because the US has deep financial markets, strong institutions, and relative stability. Can BRICS offer the same? Russia is under sanctions. China has capital controls. India and Brazil have volatile currencies. A common BRICS currency sounds revolutionary, but would people actually trust it? Would investors really park their wealth in it? Still, momentum is building. BRICS recently expanded to include new members: Saudi Arabia, Iran, the United Arab Emirates, Egypt, and Ethiopia. With Saudi Arabia, BRICS suddenly has a huge piece of the global oil market. With China, the world's second-largest economy. With Russia, one of the largest energy exporters. Together, they represent a credible challenge to Western-dominated systems like the IMF and World Bank. What would this mean for Europe? Germany and the EU are caught in the middle. On one side, they rely on the US for security and the dollar system for stability. On the other, they trade massively with China, import energy from Russia and the Middle East, and are increasingly vulnerable to shifts in global finance. If the dollar weakens, European economies could face higher costs for borrowing and trade. For the United States, the threat is even bigger. The dollar's dominance is not just economic, it is geopolitical. It allows Washington to impose sanctions that really bite. It allows the US to borrow cheaply and spend freely. If that advantage erodes, America's global influence will erode with it. Is the dollar doomed? Not yet. The dollar is still strong, still trusted, and still far more liquid than any rival. But history shows that no currency lasts forever. The British pound once ruled the world until it was replaced. Today, BRICS is betting that the 21st century will not belong to the dollar, but to a new multipolar system. For investors, the lesson is clear. We are living through a transition. Maybe BRICS will succeed, maybe it will stumble. But the direction is obvious. The world is moving toward alternatives. Gold, local currencies, digital payment systems, all are part of the story. The dollar may remain king for now, but the challengers are knocking on the door. So the question is, Are you prepared for a world where the US dollar is no longer untouchable? Because that world may arrive sooner than we think.